Good morning. Welcome to Dialogue. I'm Sheldon Ingram. We really have a great show lined up this morning. The focus is Kwanzaa, an African-American holiday based on harvesting crops, a tradition of our African ancestors. Several members of the Uhuru African-American Cultural Society join us this morning to educate us on Kwanzaa and what it's all about. Samuel Varner and Benjamin Varner both join us this morning. I want to thank you both for coming on the show. What is Kwanzaa, Sam?
Kwanzaa is an African-American holiday celebrating by combining 7 cultural traditions and 7 principles. It's a celebration that brings together the rich traditions of African history and Afro-American history combined to celebrate the rich cultural tradition of African Americans. In 1966, a group of black nationalists sat down together and said, hey, we don't have a peculiar holiday that's peculiar to us as black Americans.
Like the Jews celebrate Hanukkah.
Yeah, like the Jews celebrate Hanukkah. And they revived at that time an ancient, age-old tradition called, it was an agriculture celebration. And so they looked at it, and they looked at the 7 principles connected with it, and say that this could be great for African Americans as we try to reconstruct our history and to find out some of the things that are important to us as black Americans.
Okay, a couple of quick questions. First of all, the Kwanzaa, did these gentlemen in the 1960s, did they come up with the term Kwanzaa?
Yes. Kwanzaa, yeah, they came up with Dr. Ron Karenga, who teaches black studies in California, came up with the whole idea and put it all together.
Now, secondly, did Kwanzaa or did an African celebration go on of this type in Africa already?
Well, something similar to it, but not like it.
And was it intentionally designed to happen during the Christmas holidays?
No, it was designed to happen at the end of the year and the beginning of the year. So Kwanzaa starts the 26th of December, 7 days from the beginning of the new year.
Okay.
And it's celebrated from the 26th of December until January 1st.
Why that time of the year?
Because it's the time when black people should come together and think about their rich cultural traditions, the things that have brought us thus far along the way, and to look back and see how we have overcome, and also to recall and to remember the things that have been important to us.
Okay,
and that's why we look at the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Very quickly, Benjamin, you're here to talk about the 7 principles, am I right?
Yeah.
What are they?
The 7 principles collectively are termed the Nguzu Saba, and I'll run them down. Number 1 is Umoja, which means unity. To strive and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. The second one is Kujichagulia, which stands for self-determination, which is define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves without being created for, defined, named, and spoken for by others. Third one is Ujima, which is collective work and responsibility, to build and maintain our community together and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and to solve them together. The fourth one is Ujama, cooperative economics, and that's to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and profit from them together. The fifth one is Nia, which stands for purpose, to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. The sixth one is Kuumba, which stands for creativity, to do as much as we can in the way that we can in order to restore our community to the as way as we inherited it. And the last one,
Kujichagulia?
Kujichagulia.
Kujichagulia, which is self-determination.
Self-determination.
And that's one of the churches that
Yes.
George Stallings named here in Norfolk after the Imani Temple in Washington, D.C.
And Imani is the 7th principle, which stands for faith, to believe with all our hearts in our people, our parents, and our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Do you think, let me ask you another question, we only have about a quick minute and a half left. Do you think enough blacks or African Americans are aware of Kwanzaa?
Well, each year, a new group of African Americans join the group that already celebrated. And this year, we estimate about 4 million Afro-Americans were celebrated.
Throughout the country?
Yeah, throughout the country.
How about here in Hampton Roads? Do you think the awareness
Well, there's a
of Kwanzaa-
small number here in Hampton Road who are celebrating it for the 2nd time with us as our society is celebrating it. And this year, we're using the principle self-determination, Kugalia, because it is the second year we're doing it together, and
Okay.
it's the second principle.
The reason why a lot of people aren't celebrating, is it because they don't know about Kwanzaa, or is it because they choose not to, do you think?
Well, because they don't know about it, and not because they don't. Not because of a choice of not wanting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And as we educate more people about the whole principle of Kwanzaa celebration, they are doing it.
Okay, good. We're going to rush on to the next segment. Benjamin, I want to thank you for joining us. We're going to see you again in the next segment, talking about some of the Kwanzaa dishes with another guest, all right?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We have a lot more coming back, so stay with us. Thank you for joining us again for the second part of Dialogue, our Kwanzaa celebration. And Dr. Varner joins us with Diane Cannon. I'm sorry, I call her Diane Carroll. But Diane Cannon joins us to talk about some of the dishes also. The Kinara, first of all, tell us what the Kinara is all about.
We start the Kwanzaa celebration by giving a libation to our ancestors, and then we light the 7 candles. We light 1 candle each day for the 7 days of Kwanzaa, and we give a gift each day of Kwanzaa.
And what are the gifts that you give?
The gifts are usually made. A mother may write a letter to a son or a poem to a son. A mother may make a shirt, a dashiki, or some item that you make is usually given during Kwanzaa.
Why is that so?
Because we try to keep it from being a commercial holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's our first fruit, and it's the fruit of your labor. The same for the dishes that we have here. These are this is a Fuji stew.
Now, before we go into the dishes,
Yeah.
The whole thing about Kwanzaa is the fact that you're harvesting your own your own food.
You're harvesting your own food, but also you're harvesting your thoughts, your ideas, and your culture, the things that are important to you as a person, and for us as a community, and for us as Afro-Americans.
Is there anything unique or significant about the food that is harvested during Kwanzaa?
Well, sure, the food is usually food that's harvested by the person
What kind of
who's
food?
going to serve it. If it's a farmer, he would serve you the things that he has grown in his garden.
Anything? Tomatoes,
Tomatoes,
onions,
corn,
mushroom?
carrots, beets, squash, things of that sort.
Okay.
And also the dishes that you serve during Kwanzaa are dishes that you make yourself.
This first dish.
This is a Fuji stew.
Fuji stew.
Yeah,
I'm
East
going to tilt it over
African.
for Tony to get a shot of
It
it.
has an East African base, but it has a lot of the things that are traditional soul food stuff that Afro-Americans would eat.
Let's get on Tony's camera. There you go.
Yes. And that's a very delicious stew. It has meatballs in it, carrots, corn, squash, tomatoes, rice, beans, cauliflower.
Combination of some African spices and what we call soul food.
Yeah, very, very hot sometime. You can make it hot or mild. My family prefers it mild. I like it very, very hot.
Okay, good. Diane, talk to us about these 2 dishes here.
Okay.
The first one, starting with this one with the
Okay.
parsley on it. I'll get a shot of it real quick.
The preparation of food is very essential in the African culture, especially during Kwanzaa. And 2 of the dishes that we have here, the first one is called Bajan fish chowder.
Okay. What is in Bajan fish chowder?
Bajan fish chowder is from Barbados, and the ingredients are flying fish, bacos, milk, potatoes, thyme, marjoram leaves, and parsley.
Is this a hard dish, a difficult dish to make?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not at all.
How about the second dish?
Okay, the second dish is it's a South African dish. It's a vegetable dish, and it's called mgambo.
Mgambo.
M-G-A-M-B-O.
It looks like, let's see, a little bit of curry is mixed in here.
Yes, it is.
And what else?
We have curry, we have tomatoes, green peppers, broccoli, onions, and peanut oil, which is used in a lot of African dishes.
Really? Now, I mean, what unique is inside of these dishes, I guess? What kind of spices from Africa are in some of these dishes?
Curry powder is used in most African dishes, okay, and most Caribbean dishes.
Is it difficult to make any of these dishes at all?
No, it's not. Not at all.
Repeat some of these recipes again for the Bajan fish chowder.
The Bajan fish chowder is made with flying fish, bacos, those are bacon bits, milk, potatoes, thyme, marjoram leaves, and parsley.
So these are things we can find on the grocery shelves every day.
Right. Now the bacos, let me just say that it's not made out of pork. It's not bacon.
Is that
Okay,
a practice of during the Kwanzaa celebration?
Sure, we
not
never
to eat
use pork in
No.
anything during Kwanzaa. We never eat pork during Kwanzaa, and we don't have pork in our dishes.
Now, these dishes, are they more nutritious than the foods we ordinarily eat
Yes,
throughout the
during
year?
Kwanzaa we think about nutritional things because what we're trying to do is harvest the best that we have. We talk about our great heroes in government, in theater, in education, and we also talk about the things that have brought us together as a people. And we try to eat that way also to be very healthy and athletic. We tell stories. This is what these books are African stories, and we tell a lot of stories during Kwanzaa because we try to educate our kids about Kwanzaa by telling stories,
What
African
kind of stories?
Usually African stories.
Are they fictional? Are they true?
No, they're true stories, usually based on a proverb, or a great teaching, or a great lesson.
And who is this written by?
It's written by an African-American.
Moses Sawada.
Moses Sawada. Okay, and the name of it is Songs and Stories from Uganda. And this next book, what is this all about?
These are African stories also.
Rafiki is the name of this book, and it's by Nola Langner.
Okay. Very good. What about some of the African art we see up here?
Well, this is all African art is homemade art, and we use this. This comes from East Africa, and we do in Kwanzaa time. We tell stories about this, and we tell how it's made, and we say to the kids that they can use their time to make valuable creations from their own minds, rather than going to the store to buy them.
See. Anything else you want to share with us about the food, Diane?
Well, since Kwanzaa is an African-American holiday, we do prepare American as well as African dishes. But traditionally, African dishes are most important during Kwanzaa.
Why can't we eat these dishes year-round? Why isn't it more of a practice to eat these dishes year-round?
Well, it's part of the celebration of Kwanzaa, of course, but we do eat them year-round.
I mean, do you think most African Americans would be satisfied with some of these dishes?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
they would love it. It's very delicious.
I'm sure it tastes good.
Very
When we come
nutritional.
together to sing and to tell stories and to share our rich culture heritage at Kwanzaa, we also celebrate our foods.
Does this food, here's the question, does this food fill you up like regular
Oh,
food
sure it does. Much better than the junk food that usually our kids would be eating this time of year. But we also eat a lot of fruit.
The most significant thing about the food that's prepared in the African culture is that they don't eat a lot of pork. Most Africans do not use pork at all, pork products at all. So that's one of the most significant things I feel about it, because, you know, of course, with cholesterol and people with high blood pressure and different things like that attributed to eating pork, I think it's very nutritional not to in this case.
Now, in the previous segment, we talked about how much people know about Kwanzaa around here and throughout the country. You mentioned 4 million people around the country are celebrating Kwanzaa now. Are those numbers growing each year?
Oh, each year, yes. We add about 1 million, 500,000 a year. Yes.
Are more people becoming more educated about this as the years go on?
Yes. There are several books that are very helpful to help us with that also. This is a book on everything you need to know about Kwanzaa. And this is a book also about Kwanzaa. And as these books become more popular and more widely read, more people are able to acquire the knowledge that's needed for celebration of Kwanzaa. Now, Kwanzaa is celebrated in the home, but it's also celebrated in the community. And the community celebration of Kwanzaa is called the Karamu. And we're going to have one at Manor High School in Portsmouth on the 31st of December. And it's open to the public, and they can come, share our dishes, share our culture, and share the activities of Kwanzaa.
Will it go on just for that night, the 31st, or will it continue throughout the Kwanzaa celebration? Kwanzaa will go on
the whole week.
Right. Well,
yes.
how about at Manor High School?
At Manor High School, that's the Karamu. That's the community celebration that's open to the entire community.
I see.
And anyone can come. All you need to do is just bring a dish of food.
From the hours of 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And we asked everyone that's participating, that's going to bring a covered dish, please, no pork.
No pork. What about African dress? Can they, if they don't have their own, can they acquire some at the
Yeah, there will
celebration?
be vendors there selling African clothes and jewelry, and there will be all sorts of entertainment. Local artists will be appearing. We'll have an African fashion show as well.
Right.
Okay, very
And
good.
the African storytelling. African dancing,
Okay, very good.
and African music.
We're going to wrap this thing up and come back with some African art. That's going to be in segment 3 on our Kwanzaa celebration here on Dialogue. There's a lot more. Stay with us. Well, thank you for joining us again on an exciting show, a Kwanzaa celebration. We talked a little bit about the history and the 7 principles and tradition of Kwanzaa. We talked a little bit about the food in segment 2, and now we're going to see some African art. Weston Mwamlima from Zambia, East Africa, joins us to talk about some of the art that you brought back from East Africa, which is your home.
That's my home.
And what are you doing now over here in the United States?
I got school at ODU.
Okay, and your major?
Marketing.
Marketing. Okay. Well, listen, before we display some of the art, is that a custom over in East Africa for everyone to just get into artistic craft?
It's kind of natural. It just comes in. Like you see young kids, when they grow up, they got no toys to be given for Christmas. They have to make their own toys.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to Africa, you see a lot of toys or bicycles all made out of things they get from the street or from home.
You said you didn't actually make some of this art we're about to see, but you brought it over that you're learning.
As a matter of fact, I did most of it when I was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
but not this particular kind. But I still can make some of this,
Mm-hmm.
but not this good.
Okay, we're going to get a shot of this huge display right here. I want you to talk about it, if you will, and tell us what it's all about. Does it have a name or anything like that?
This is my favorite piece.
Okay. And what is it?
It's made of copper, basically. It's copper, and what they do in Zambia, especially Zambia and Zaire, they got a lot of copper there. It's a huge copper belt they call, or Shaba province.
Mm-hmm.
So many copper craftsmen do a lot of work, things with the copper. This is one of the things they do.
Okay.
So what they do basically is just buy a plain sheet of copper, then draw an outline on it with a pencil,
Mm-hmm.
most likely, and then with a hammer and a chisel. Basically, that's all the tools they have. They would hit from the back to raise some parts of the copper metal,
Mm-hmm.
which needs some skill, not just banging on it, and to raise up some parts of it to come with the art.
Now, did they have prepared images of elephants? Because we see
They draw it with a pencil.
They draw it with a pencil. The
Yeah,
elephants
the
themselves.
whole picture with a pencil.
Really? Why is this your favorite? Because of the detail in this piece, or
Yeah, it took about 3 weeks to do one piece like that.
one piece?
And it's actually two, as a matter of fact. They put two sheets together.
Mm-hmm.
That way they can do 2 at one time.
Mm-hmm.
With they hit one on. Of course, the finer details are different, but the basic structure is the same. But it takes about 2 weeks to do one piece like that.
But what about the significance of this particular piece of
Yeah.
art? You see a lot of elephants there. I mean, is this something? Is this a praise of the animal, or what is it? What is this about?
This used to be a typical scene in Africa a few years ago, before the elephants got
Poached?
by
Poachers, I guess.
yeah, poachers. Yeah. So the elephants is a very I would say an animal in Africa which is well respected because of its. You can learn a lot from the elephant by observing its movement, its ear movement, or what do you call the structure?
The trunk?
A trunk. Okay. Yeah. By you can learn from the animals. It can even give you a warning of danger by observing the elephant.
Let's take a look at this piece. I'm gonna hold it right here so we can get a shot of it there on camera 3. Tony's working. Now, what animals are we looking at here? Are these deer?
Yeah, it's a deer. It's a little different from the deer you have here, but you see this in Africa. Almost in any game reserve you be in, you see hundreds of the deer. So it's very graceful.
Is the deer plentiful in Africa,
Yeah,
or is it a sacred animal, or
No, it's not quite a sacred animal, but it sustains the life of people. It's you would see in some of my artwork, you see the deer being held by hunters coming back home, and the women, of course, celebrate because they just had a good day.
Okay, now you mentioned that each piece of art here has a particular story.
Yeah, this particular picture here was done by one of my friends in Zambia, who lives very close to Zambia and Zimbabwe border on Zambezi River. So he's trying to give you what people do for livelihood, or how they get food on that kind of in that part of Africa.
So what are they doing? Fishing?
It's fishing, and on the boats you see the traps on there. These are traps which they just drop into the river, and they come to pick them up after some time fish will be in there. And you see...
Is fish a frequent part of the diet?
It's a very important part of that in Africa.
Is that is fish eaten more than any other food there?
Next to vegetables, fish.
Next to vegetables,
yeah.
fish.
Really? Yeah. And this particular picture shows you what Zambia is like from May until September. You see the sunset all the same, almost 3 months. There's no need of weather forecast.
Okay. What is this piece of art right here?
Yeah, this is made of savanna grass on the background and banana leaves.
What are these people doing?
And these people are supposed to be having a feast. It's a nice day. This open house with a roof without, it's open wall, in other words.
Is this a Kwanzaa feast by any chance?
Well, it could be something close to Kwanzaa feast. There is no, each tribe has got their own little different festivals in there. So this particular one here is it's a festival going on.
Okay, let's take a look at another one. This one here appears that they're preparing for some sort of feast, I guess. Am I right?
Yeah, this one is very similar to the one I just showed you. The only difference is this one is almost towards the end of the feast.
Towards the end?
Towards the end of the feast. People are now collecting all their leftovers and putting it back in the homes.
Okay. And this is typical...
Typical of what you see in Zimbabwe, East Africa, and I would say in Africa.
Now we see the huts here. Is this? And it still has the primitive look to it. Is this the way things look even today?
That's exactly what you can see when you go to Africa. If you get out of the city, about 5-10 miles out of the city, you see exactly that.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at one more before we close off this segment. Are they preparing more food here in this particular piece of art?
And this one shows something important here because it shows you what men do in Africa and what part men and women play in there. So you see all the time men holding a hoe. It's H-O-E. I don't know how you say that. But and the women are carrying plantains or some fruit on their head.
This is a part of the daily chores or daily activities?
Yeah. See, women stay home and work in the afternoons after working in the fields in the morning. But men usually are either hunting
or plowing, or farmers or something like that. Okay, good enough.
Labor.
And you're enjoying your stay over here in the United States?
Oh yeah, I do. And of course, I'm particularly glad to be at this part of this Kwanzaa festival because it shows how Americans are looking back to where they came from, and they appreciate to see which things came from where they came from. And it's only fortunate also to see that many, not only is this art being admired by the African Americans, but also the white and Oriental people come to the store, which I have here in Tower Mall and Pembroke Mall. And I'm thrilled and moved by deeply because of the deep appreciation of the art.
Very good. I'm glad you were able to come over here and share some of your artwork with us for this Kwanzaa celebration. Yeah. And well, thank you very much for joining us.
Well, thank you, and I hope I wish you all the best for the Kwanzaa festival coming up, and I hope they can learn a lot from.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to end the segment 3 on the Uhuru Uhuru drummers, and they're going to play a song called Funga, which is a song of welcome.